In the last class, we were basically, we had finished off the Milesian school, and we said that in today's class, we will be so we'll now move on to the Eleatic period today, and we will consider. We will
ऑडियो भी ऑन नहीं रहता ना, म्यूट में रहता ना। सेम गूगल मीट के जैसा है भी, कभी कभी ऑन नहीं रहता, देख लेना कैसा देख लेना।
Okay, he was agonizing on how to mute. I muted him. I hope he stays mute. Anyway, so today we'll pick up the Eleatic School, and in the Eleatic School we will talk about primarily Parmenides. We will not talk much about Zeno. So the Eleatic school derives its name from the province to which these thinkers, Parmenides and Zeno, belong. The province is Elea, E-L-E-A, Elea. Some people say Elea, Eleatic school, and that it is Elea. I don't know. I was thinking of using the freedom given to us by the English language and pronounce things the way we want. So if already people have started leaving, good. If we look at the philosophy of Parmenides, the philosophy of Parmenides is one of the big influences on Plato. But before we start talking about those things, we'll talk about his influences on Plato when we do Plato, which is the Athenian school, which will come immediately after the Eleatic school. And like I told you, that there has been some kind of a contact between the Eleatic school and the Athenians, because there is documented evidence apparently of Parmenides having visited what should I say, the polis called Athens, sorry. And he met a very young Socrates who was probably just about 20. Parmenides apparently was in his 60s, and Zeno was somewhere around in the 40s. So Parmenides had also influenced Socrates, and the direct influence of Parmenides apart, the influence of Socrates on Plato is also something that we have to factor in. We have to factor in that as well. Now, if you uh, basically uh, look at Parmenides, Parmenides is credited by some people, not too many, by some people, as the person who 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 was the first to talk about uh, epistemology. And apart from that, uh, it is also believed that Parmenides is the one who started metaphysics. Now, metaphysics is metaphysics. For the Greeks, physics is matter, material, this universe that consists of things. That for uh, people is supposed to be, sorry, physics. So when you say something is above physics, then the argument that you are making is that something actually is transcendental. What do we mean by transcendental? What we mean by transcendental is that something which is beyond, something which is completely beyond uh, the physics, something that rises above physics and probably even controls it. If you're Parmenides, not everyone, if you're Parmenides only, he believed that metaphysics also controls uh, the physical world. We'll have a look about that in a minute. Uh, what we have to look at is, first and foremost, what is ontology? Now, ontology and epistemology are two things which are a political philosophy teacher's nightmare. Okay? They are not just a political philosopher teacher's nightmare, they are also a nightmare of philosophy teachers, because they are extremely subtle and highly nuanced. Since they are so subtle and since they are so nuanced, what happens is that a small little diversion which you did not, a small little diversion which you did not intend, can change the meaning of the proposition that you are considering. That is the basic problem. Before I talk to you about ontology, I will talk to you a bit about epistemology, because when we do Plato's epistemology. Uh, so it's good to know, along with ontology, it is good to know what epistemology is. Now, epistemology comes from Greek, from the Greek language, that is. Um, it stands for episteme, Episteme, episteme. That is what it stands for. And it is something that uh, becomes a framework of knowledge. Okay, a framework of knowledge into which you fit things. That is an episteme. Okay, so the pursuit of knowledge is what people call epistemology. If you want to have knowledge about something, people will say philosophical knowledge, not like, for example, how to repair uh, an aircraft engine. That doesn't come under epistemology. Maybe for the Greeks it would have, but we don't know. Uh, but epistemology is very much in the theory philosophy domain. It is knowledge, and it is the pursuit of knowledge, not just knowledge. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's not just a pursuit of knowledge, it is knowledge itself. That is epistemology. So, and like I said, it is also, it means framework as well. Now, another category that I have been talking to you about is ontology. Now, we'll go to the argument of whether or not Parmenides is the first ontologist uh, of Greece, and in that sense, the ancient Western world. Okay, we can't say much about that uh, right now, but ontology is the pursuit of being. When you say ontology is the pursuit of being, you write being with a capital B. I have been telling you about the difference between writing truth with a small t and a big T, right? Small t is opposite of lie. Big T is the fundamental principle that governs the world. Okay, so similarly, you have being uh, written with a small b, you have being written with a big B. 1 second, please. I'm probably on my way to COVID. I just have a running nose. I don't have any other symptoms. But we'll see. Just sanitizing what I touch because don't want to transmit in case it is COVID. Um, so basically, what we need to look into is ontology is the pursuit of being, and being, I told you, has a small b and a big B, capital B. Big B will become Amitabh Bachchan, so we'll call it capital B. Uh, so you can see from the usage of being what its implications are. For example, if you say something like, yesterday, when you made a stupid joke, why? Let's not go to that. I've got a better example. Today, all of us still sitting in your class is us, meaning you people, us being polite to you. That is me. So, us being polite to you, the being there is written with a small b. And big B or capital B, I'm sorry, I'm going on saying big B. Capital B is something which indicates a state of affairs, okay? A state of affairs, not state as an institution, but state as a situation, not institution, but situation. So big B is, or capital B, I should not be saying big B. I'm extremely sorry about this. Uh, it should be capital B, and capital B, uh, when it is written with, I mean, when we write with a capital B, we are talking about uh, state of affairs. How is your being these days? How is your being these days? If somebody asks you that, then people would particularly say, my being is all right. They are opening up the colleges, so we'll be going back. We'll be sitting in classrooms instead of sitting and seeing things on our phones. So you may basically, therefore, qualify that with a big B or a capital B. So being. Now, when we talk about ontology, ontology concerns itself with the capital B, being. Okay? It essentially talks about what things are like in a particular space. That is what it talks about. So, ontologically, when we talk about the definition of it, then we say it is the pursuit of being. I am unhappy is a state of being. For example, I am extremely unhappy now. Last night I didn't sleep a wink. I don't know why. Okay. So that kind of a thing, state of being, is that which is ontology. But don't rely on that example. If I tell you that I have taught for 31 years thus far in the Usmania University, I have mixed feelings about it. I'm not overtly happy that I taught in Usmania University. I am not overtly unhappy that I have taught in Usmania University. I am caught somewhere in between. And sometimes I feel I may have made a contribution, but most times I feel that I have made no contribution to any student's life because attendance to my classes is extremely poor. When I was teaching in the postgraduate college, Secunderabad, I used to teach classes with one person in it. The reason why I had to do it, I would have probably done it anyway, especially if the student said, listen, it doesn't matter. There is nowhere is it written in my admission uh, form and the subsequent documents that unless there are a minimum number of people, classes will not be held. So a sincere student can ask that. They can ask and say, I may be the only one, but I paid fees. I'm here. You're paid a salary irrespective of how many people come. Whether one person comes or 50 people come, it really doesn't matter. So we had this wonderful principal, uh, whose name I shall not divulge to you.
Sir, I want to do PhD in Jain University, sir.
In which university?
Jain University, but I don't know how I get admission in Jain University.
No, I'm talking about holding classes in PG college. And I'm talking about the principal there. You're asking me about, suddenly you're asking me about,
Sir, could you help me, sir, please?
I will do that later, not while I'm doing the class. Not while I'm doing the class. Towards the end of the class, I will answer your question.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, what you need to understand is that the principal wanted to go down in history as one of the most strict principles ever. So he wanted to make sure that teachers are taking their classes. He used to come on rounds. PG college is a small college, just 2 buildings. He used to come on rounds every hour, and he used to see which teacher, he used to come with the timetable and whose class it is. He used to come and see if we are taking our classes or not. Once, out of curiosity, I asked him, for 3 days in a row, you have come and found one student only. You have found only one student. I have been teaching this one student. I don't have a problem with that. I will teach that one student. But why aren't you doing anything about student attendance? You are only monitoring the teachers. You are not monitoring the students. So he said, look, that is principal's powers. You don't know all that. You are a sincere teacher. You teach. Go. That's what he said. And I said, okay, fine. At least he called me sincere. In life, not many people have said nice things to me, about me. And so one good word he used, so I was very happy. So I will therefore say, but some of my earlier students, when I was teaching in Nizam College, they've gone to JNU, they've gone to other places, very good universities, like Jadavpur University. Some of them even went to Pune University. So you'll see that it's a mixed bag. And if you ask me, how do you look at your being in these 31 years as a teacher in Osmania University? I'll probably say it's a bit of sweet and a bit of bitter. So that is an ontological statement. That is a proper ontological statement because it is explaining the state of my mind. It is explaining the state of my mind, and it is through the explanation of the state of my mind that you can get to understand how I am generally feeling. Because work is one of the important aspects of life. So that will become ontology, the pursuit of being. But it is not just being, it is also about becoming. Becoming, becoming, again written with a capital B. From being to becoming. Suppose I'm extremely unhappy in Osmania University. No, why give examples? Let me tell you what I'm doing. I am looking for jobs in other universities because in Osmania University we retire in 60 years, at the age of 60. In other universities like central universities and private universities, you retire at 65, but if they find you productive, if they find you doing your job well, they'll even let you work till you're 70. I have had offers. I've had to reject them because for various reasons, I cannot leave Hyderabad. But I am looking at opportunities in Hyderabad. If any new university offers a role, I may want to go there. So, from being a professor in Osmania, I am trying to become a professor in some other university where the age of superannuation is 65 years, and at least 65 years. Some, like I said, they allow you to work till 70. And I have to work till 65 years for various reasons. There's not one reason. So I'm trying. So that is also ontology. My being to my becoming. Despite my being in Osmania University, I have built up a considerably formidable curriculum vitae, which is why I got all those offers in Ahmedabad University, in MIT World Peace University, uh, in Amity University. I've built up a fairly, though I didn't do it in a focused manner, but I have a CV that is quite good. It's not something to be ashamed of. On the basis of that, I can ask people to call me for an interview. And on the basis of an interview, I am confident that I get called for a job. That is the ontological aspect of things. So, Parmenides believed in ontology. He believed in that. But his ontology doesn't dwell too much on becoming. It, because I'll tell you the reason later when it becomes, what should I say? When it becomes relevant, I'll give you the reason. There isn't too much emphasis on becoming in Parmenides. It's basically on being. Now, Parmenides also talked about metaphysics. People credit him with um, what should I say? People credit him with uh, metaphysics also. I am doubtful if he is the creator of metaphysics. I think in the ancient Greek world, metaphysics was a free-floating term. He picked it up and put it to good use. Now, what he did is that he used metaphysics in a manner which is somewhat different from the manner in which we use it today. We use metaphysics these days as the opposite of science. Despite the fact that positivism has had an inglorious fall, we still have not learned to create a binary opposition between metaphysics and uh, science. We haven't learned that lesson yet. So he's not using it in this particular way. The way in which he is using metaphysics is that the world has objects, and putting different objects in different places, according to convenience or according to some taxonomy, whatever may be the reason, you will put things in certain places. You'll organize them. This organizing of physical objects according to logic, according to logic in different places is what his metaphysics is. His metaphysics is not the metaphysics that we people talk about. And he also said a couple of things. One of the things that he said is that there are two ways of looking at the world. Okay? Two ways of looking at the world. One way of looking at the world is what he called the way of the truth, written with a capital T. He just didn't leave it as way of truth. Okay? He wrote it down as the way of the truth, which basically means if somebody came up with some other idea and claimed that to be the truth, he said, no, this is the truth. No generalization. It is extremely specific. Putting the is absolutely specific. It's very, very specific. So the truth. So he says that is one way of looking at the world. Then we have to look at the world in another way. What is that? He called it the world of appearances. He called that the world of appearances, looking at the world of appearances. And for him, this was not acceptable because the world of appearances is contrary to the world of the truth. The world of appearances is the contrary, the opposite of the world of the truth. So for him, the world of appearances is the one that generated the illusion of movement. It is something that is the illusion of movement. Okay. So he said the world of appearances is completely false and illusory. Actually, I should put it the other way around. It is illusory, and since it is illusory, it is false. I'll stop here because if I make a new point, it will take some more time. Yes, Mr. Krishna, what exactly do you want me to tell you? Krishna?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you were asking a question.
Sir, I don't know, sir. How will I get admission in Jain University?
Jain University.
Yes, sir. I wrote for MA, but unfortunately, I lose admission, sir. I'm preparing seriously. I get admission in BH University, but there isn't open the campus, sir, till now.
Yeah, but why are you so keen on Jain University? It's not such a great university.
But the politics is going very well, sir. There,
Uh-huh.
politics.
Uh.
So many organizations are conducted, so many programs, sir.
That is done
So just
in conjunction with Lokniti. It is done in conjunction with Lokniti. The gentleman who does it is Professor Suhas Palshikar. And right now, the Vice Chancellor of some Lakeview University in Bhopal, uh, Sandeep Shastri, that is his name. These two people are the ones who are in charge of the activity. What you do is go to that Lakeview University, Bhopal, and write a letter to the VC. Search the website. There'll be somewhere where you can write to the VC. The VC is Sandeep Shastri. Ask him. He taught at the Jain University for many years. He is the man behind its success. So you can ask him. He's a very approachable person.
sir, how will I approach, sir?
Write an email.
Okay.
Write an email.
Okay.
Write an email saying what you want to do, and he will write back to you.
Thank
Okay?
you. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. See you all tomorrow.